Hi, Aries, and welcome to May 2020. Interesting. Just landing on that date. It's like, all right, here we are. We're doing it. Whatever that looks like, we're doing it. Yeah, I'm coming in here today with a really specific message. I feel like this group, Aries and I, we have been doing some really amazing work over the last couple of years, just understanding and loving on Aries energy and helping you all to activate it in ways that feel really good for you and not exhausting or lonely or overwhelming for you. And I think this month is yet another month, where we are having some big energy come in to help you master some of these skills. I keep thinking about you guys because we have this long Chiron transit moving through your sign, and reformulating what it means to be a warrior, to be on the front lines. For so long, that was defined as this kind of sacrificial, almost self-violent need to be pushing, right? And with the work that we're all doing with Chiron and Aries, we're releasing and reinventing what it means to be a warrior. So this is a really powerful time. The message that came through for Aries, wow, it's really specific. It's really specific. It's really powerful. We're going to talk about this idea of kenosis, which is based on a Greek word, and it's this idea of self-emptying, and it's very much tied to what you would think of as traditions of non-attachment, right? It's also deeply tied to the Jesus story of his self-emptying. Now, any of these great masters, this idea of you empty yourself of all these urges, desires, needs, things to fulfill you, and you allow for beauty to come through. Now, here's the thing that came through, though, specifically with this idea of kenosis. It's not about being unattached and letting go of things, right? I think we often get told, let go, just let go. And that imagery, it's a strange feeling. It's like, yes, it's true. Let go of the rope and the net will appear. Let go and you are free to float and fly and you're not bound, right? But I think it's more about letting be, letting things be, and letting yourself connect to what they are as they are, and can let yourself be in the mystery, right? And you don't have to let go of that. You're allowed to let yourself be in that. You're allowed to let yourself be a part of that. And I think when we tap into that level of relaxation, we're actually in a very creative, active process. And here's where I'm saying, using that action-based Aries energy that is so powerful in this way of understanding, of being creative in relaxing into things and not feeling the need to push all the time is so powerful. And it allows for this big embrace between you and the universe and the world and those around you when you're in that state of kenosis. Now, there's a lot going on in May. It's a revolutionary month in many ways, because we start some important transits that are going to help us kind of reset our bones, so to speak. First of all, the North Node of the Moon, which has been in Nine of Wands, I swear, man, this is Chiron and Aries energy right here, the work that we're doing, releasing this need to be the guard keeper, the damaged warrior with a concussion, keeping watch over the past. We'll get into that in a minute. The North Node has been in Cancer for a year and a half. It's moving into Gemini on May 5th. And this is symbiotic with you. This is going to be activating the way you speak, the way you express, right? And it's going to be pulling you toward using your words in ways that feel authentic to you. Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, exciting. We also have Venus starting her retrograde in Gemini. So both the North Node and Venus retrograde happening in Gemini around the same time. The Venus retrograde starts on the 13th and will go till June 25th. And we are going to be doing an awesome 6-week We're going to check in every week with Venus retrograde. We're going to dive deep. We're going to get into the symbolism. We're going to get into some of the messages that are coming through for me on it. We're going to get into all of that over on my Patreon. So if you're interested in joining me, we are going to have such a blast getting deep into Venus retrograde. So those are the two really big shifts at this time. They are very spiritual shifts. North Node and Venus, when they do their work, when they shift something, they really shift what we love and value. They really help us tap into a new way of seeing that. 9 of Pentacles. Oh, wow. I love that. 9 of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, the transmutation into 9 of Pentacles. Need I say more? We could just stop there. Okay, so those are the big, bold things happening. Now, other things that are happening this month. We have Mars moving into your 12th house. He's moving into Pisces. And that means that, your action-based energy, the energy you want to put into the world, is getting tapped into here in this watery, unifying energy of Pisces. 4 of Cups. Yeah. It takes that Martian energy and puts it into the unifying force. And here's where that whole idea of sitting in the mystery as an act of creative empowerment, so huge. We also have a lot of planets retrograde starting their seasonal retrograde. These outer planets retrograde every year for several months. Pluto's already started by the time May begins. We have Jupiter going retrograde on the 14th. We have Saturn retrograde going on the 11th. And we have, those are the big ones, I guess. And then, of course, the Venus retrograde. So there's a lot about the work we're doing being from the inside out. Page of Wands, which is always how it works. That's why I'm actually a big fan of retrograde logic, because it reminds us that nothing is from the outside in. There is no such thing as a surface level experience, truly. And the more we're going from inside out, 3 of Wands, the more that seemingly surface level is giving us feedback. So this time is really tapping into that wisdom. And there's where that kenosis, right, the creative act of emptying and embracing at the same time, is 2 of Swords. Yes, that energy is really strong at this time. And we'll talk about why. And 8 of Swords. Okay. All right. So there's an interesting thing going on this month, because there's a lot of clarity. There's a lot of brilliance coming into our lives in May, much more so than we were feeling in March and April. With that clarity is coming an integration process, because we're hungry for knowledge, we're hungry for answers, we're hungry for ways to move through the world. And sometimes when we get the answers, even if they're really good and positive, we still have to integrate what that means for us and what that means for our life moving forward. It's not going to look the same as maybe we had planned on it looking. It's not going to feel the same as maybe we had planned on it feeling, right? And so there's a big process going on by the time we get to Gemini season and the sun moving into Gemini. This month is an interesting one for you, because we start off in your second house of what you love and value, and we move into your third house in Gemini of how you communicate, how you make short-term plans, and how you tell your story. And the North Node of the Moon really wants us to use our words for magic at this time. So let's get into this, my friends. We're starting off with the world-weary warrior. Now, this guy's seen some stuff. He's been in battle. He's been injured. You can see he's got a wrapped head there. Has a head injury. Interesting. And he hasn't quite moved on from it. He's still standing guard over that reality. He's almost imprisoned himself within those past actions, those past experiences, despite the fact that the war is over. So whenever 9 of Wands shows up, he's an invitation and a reminder. Anywhere we feel we have to still stand guard or sentry over who we have been, over where we need to push ourselves or hold ourselves or be in command. It's an invitation to remember that it's all an illusion, that we are holding on to. Now, here's the other thing, the message that comes through is you may have something that you feel you have to hold on to, you have to stand guard over, but the Wheel of Fortune and Nine of Pentacles here is telling me that there is another direction you need to be looking in. Wheel of Fortune is a transmutational energy, 100%. It shifts something, right? It's the gears of the clock or the turning of the seasons. It points your compass where you need to go. It gets you back to true north by showing you something that maybe you haven't looked at before. It's also a number 10, right? And so a number 10 means it's conclusionary time. It's a time to wrap up one lesson and open up another. It's a time to understand that sometimes you don't have to carry everything with you. It is a time of shift and change. And, you're getting asked to look in this other direction, this Nine of Pentacles direction, which is about doing something in a simpler way. Now, there's a sumptuousness to Nine of Pentacles, right? This is about being supported financially, physically, in your surroundings and what you have as assets in life. I mean, she's got a falcon, she's got fancy robes, she's in her garden, she's clearly doing well, right? So there's one way you can interpret this energy, which is that you get a whole bunch of money. The other way you interpret this is a state of being. Unlike the Nine of Wands, where he is standing guard over what bad could come and looking for the bad, looking for where he's going to be tripped. The Nine of Pentacles woman is savoring. Kenosis. Her savoring allows her to be present to what is really there. So there's this shift going on here. Now, this could be spiritual. This can also be something that's reflected outside of yourself, in your surroundings, in there being a shift of perspective going on now. Now, there is an integration process going on, and there's something with you, Aries, this month that you are feeling a little bit resistant to moving on, or a little freaked out by, or a little mystified by, or a little bit cautious about, that I'm noticing in these cards, because you have a lot that's here. Go for it. Here's your path. It's really different. It's got some electricity to it. Here you go. And there's a part of you that's I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Four of Cups is really interesting. It speaks to timing. This is a time to pay attention. The whole month is going to be giving you a lot of information. And it's not all about action all the time. I think the Four of Cups is always a reminder of that. We always think that our process of living a good life, a successful life, a positive life is to be in movement somehow. But the quiet itself has a lot of value. It allows us to be more present and prepares us for what's next. Prepares us for this infusion of information, of change, of shift. I always say that sometimes we're really eager for the next thing, the next answer to come in. We're I just want it. I'm ready. Give me my answer, or give me my solution, or give me my partnership, or my what have you. And if we were given what the outline, so to speak, of what was coming in next for us before we were ready, we would look at it and we'd say, this doesn't make any sense. I don't even want this. What are you talking about? And so valuing the timing is important. There's also, though, just kind of this needing some time to get your mind around something. Now, you have some really beautiful energy here. I mean, Aries, this is for you right here. Page of Wands, Three of Wands, are you kidding me? This is Aries energy to a T. This is creative energy. This is playful energy. This is curious energy. This is energy that desires new beginnings, new opportunities, new shorelines. Now, a lot of times Three of Wands is associated with travel, right? With movement. But that doesn't necessarily have to be literally travel. It could be. But it's also about welcoming in a new batch of projects, a new trajectory. The ships are coming in, but as those ships come in, you have to then assess what are on those ships. What do you do with that information? Where do you put your energy? Now, the Page of Wands is an initiator. He's kind of new on the job, and he's ready. He's ready to learn. He's ready to explore. He's ready to create. He's not living in the past. He's not worried about if he can or he can't. He's excited to play this new role. He's excited to step up to the plate and explore. I'd say the same with the Three of Wands. There's a big exploratory energy going on here for you. Now let's talk about the Two of Swords, Eight of Swords. The two ladies, these two sisters, I just imagine them as sisters because they're in a similar pickle. They're both blindfolded, unable to move, and really kind of unaware of what's going on around them, you know, with the water and the earth, and having to sit with their thoughts, and it being not the most comfortable thing. Now, when this energy shows up, number one, I always think it's important to integrate a lot of new information. And sometimes when we integrate that information, one of the first places we go is our hamster wheel brain that has preset loops that we've developed over our lifetimes that tells us this is how this goes. Oh, I know about this. I'm going to look out because this goes this way. You know, these images are sitting here with those self-protective looping thoughts. The words that we use against ourselves to say, oh, that won't work. I'm not allowed to do that. There's no way that there can be support for me. Well, this bad thing happened, so more bad things are going to happen. Only bad things are going to happen, right? Like, it's not who you are, essentially. It's not who we are, essentially, when those thoughts are... That's not us at a core level. But those are things that we're trained in our brains, right? So this is a representation of that process. Now, on the one hand, I think it's really important to give yourself and your soul and your spirit and your body time to incorporate that much new energy that we just looked at. Absolutely. And I think it's natural to have your world-weary warrior want to come in and protect you via thoughts, right? Stay in the familiar, even if it's uncomfortable. Now, the other side of this is that there is a preparation coming about here for you to feel really free and liberated in the next part of life. And as we come to the end of this month, with all of this energy starting to move retrograde, with all of this energy starting to do work with us in Gemini and the way we use our words and our thoughts, we're setting up for a June and a solstice season that is very different energetic flavor to what we've been working with for 2 or 3 years. What does that mean? It means that we are having to learn to walk again and connect again and be again. It means that even in the most supportive, easy trajectory you could have in May, you're still learning. You're still learning how to be in kind, loving perspective. And I also think, if you're feeling some reticence, some resistance to change, some resistance to something coming into your life that's activating this new energetic state, that doesn't surprise me. It's a lot. I wanted to finish off this reading today with, I wrote some keywords in this little bowl for the month of May, and I want to see what the overarching message is for the month of May. Imagination. Yeah, this month is the beginning of a long process we're going to be having with the magic we make with our words. And imagination is where it all begins. Now, what's interesting with this one, you all, is that there are 2 clans going on with imagination here in this reading. We have the imagination of the war continuing, of the fear, of the looking out, watch out, you're going to be backstabbed or something bad's going to happen, right? This is one form of imagination. Absolutely. We can use it for that. We have another form of imagination that is about what is possible. What is possible if we show up to the table of life and we engage with the mystery? And that is the big overarching theme I want you to remember again and again this month, because you are going to come across a lot of mirroring of you. Mirroring of your internal state, or, you getting the chance to look and see what you want to bring with you and what you don't. And every time, remember that your imagination is not just this thing that kind of exists but doesn't really, and everybody just says, oh, that's imaginary. That's interesting that we've brushed off the idea of the imaginary, of the imagination so easily, culturally, the make-believe. What we imagine greatly influences the way we move through the world, greatly influences the way we treat ourselves and others. And if that isn't something that is extremely visceral and real, I don't know what is. So imagination is your ticket at this time to use it to your greater good and not to hurt yourself. And to use that imagination to also allow yourself access to seeing the path forward. That is going to be the way you're going to see it. And nothing else is going to help you get there but that. I mean, we do get help from others. I'm not going to just say, well, you're alone in the universe. Good luck with your imagination. We do get help from others. I will say that. But our imagination can help us receive that help even more. I'm really excited for you guys. I think there's some really positive energy here. There's some deep transmutational soul work going on here, but there's also kind of this external support for you that I'm seeing and noticing. So keep that in mind, my friends. There's something big coming your way this month. You can find me on Patreon. Like I said, we're going to be doing that Venus retrograde work. It's going to be awesome. We also do our weekly astrology discussions and all sorts of resources over there. If you want to hang out with me a little bit more and get to know me a little bit more, I'd love to see you over there. I'll leave the link below. I will be opening up sessions in my June calendar, just working out some kinks on the technical side of my life. So I will leave my booking page below in a link as well, and you can check that out and keep an eye out for those new dates. And you can find me on Instagram at Sarah Verba. And of course, I'm wearing PinkLune's gorgeous brass collection today. She makes such beautiful jewelry. So if you're looking for something heartfelt and handmade, go check out her Etsy shop. She's one of my best friends. I will see you all in June. In June for more readings, and of course our moon magics and all the fun that we'll have during May. I love you all so much, and I will talk to you very soon.